Hello, welcome to episode 27 of Let's Talk Tactics. I'm your host, Zach Bro.
Hey, I'm Danyl.
And this week we are joined by the often mentioned and never yet seen and still not seen because the motherfucker didn't buy a webcam yet. But Brian, how are you doing?
I'm good. My OnlyFans doesn't start till next month, so the webcam's on the way.
There you go.
Nice.
Brian and I have known each other for like 14 years or something crazy like that, 15 years since like
Like,
elementary school.
yeah, like 17
So
or 18,
yeah, it was like what, third grade was first year
fourth
we
grade.
met. So like fourth grade, yeah, and
Yep.
then eighth grade we started doing a bunch of gaming stuff together. Yeah, it's been a long ass time. So finally got him into War of the Visions. But just from your perspective, kind of give us a lowdown on your history of Final Fantasy, your how you got into War of the Visions. Maybe talk about like how I convinced you or something. Since I already said I don't got you into it. And then sort of why you enjoy the PvP and like why you're on kind of that end of the game and why that's your focus.
Yeah. So I think, if I remember the timeline correctly, I think possibly the first Final Fantasy game I played might have been War of the Visions when you first introduced me back when they came out, and I played it for like a couple days.
Mhm.
But just at the time, I it looked like too much of a time commitment, so I wasn't into it. But it looked cool. Um, After that, my next game I played was 15, which I enjoyed. Which isn't like other Final Fantasy games, but I thought it was cool. Then played 10 after that. Just recently beat it though. I took kind of a break from it. Enjoyed that game too. I really like the Final Fantasy universe, and I've delved into some of the other games since then. In terms of War of the Visions, you got me back into it in October, right around Halloween. You kind of baited me in with Raryu. Um,
Yeah, I
but
did.
yeah, I really
Hard.
enjoy I really enjoy tanks, specifically drain tanks in games, and or just tanks that refuse to die. Which Raryu, he does have some self healing. He has Immortal Spirit, so he kind of fits that bill. So started around then. When then the class matches, I think were just a couple weeks after I started, right?
I think you 2 or 3 weeks after you started, we had a class match. Yeah, was your first one.
Yeah. So I kind of rushed into that, and
Anything rhinestone rings?
yeah. So a couple rhinestone rings on there. I did manage to get some good units though. So I believe my team was Raryu, Halloween Raryu, Shell, and Halloween Leela. I did end up getting both Leela and Raryu during Halloween at the last second, um,
Yep.
which paid off dividends later on. But that team was pretty good, except I had no idea what I was doing. So the first class match, Zach basically just watched me stream the game to him and kind of played the game through my hands.
I don't know if I didn't completely play it, but I was advising heavily on threat ranges and kind of what to think about, look at the turn order, and just like kind of helping you get used to it. But
Coach.
that it was some aggressive coaching, I guess is what we can go for.
We should
But I
try to do
mean,
that more often, honestly.
like I felt a little bad about it because it's like it's not exactly just you playing. I know you're like me where you kind of like you want to have it in your own hands. You don't want to like have too much guidance. You want to like earn it yourself.
Oh, I needed it though.
But
I
yeah,
remember. Yeah.
you had like if I say crush armor, like Daniel and I are like range 5, height 1, this much damage, decrease defense by 25. You're just like those are
Where's that in my
words.
list of abilities?
You're like those are words.
I'll kind of have to turn scrolling through the
Right.
ability trying to find it.
And then you're like, oh wait, it's the on a unit I don't even have. So
Yeah,
it's like, yeah. So I was trying to help bridge that gap, especially because you're starting in bronze anyway. The highest you're gonna really realistically get to is like platinum, and you'd have to go like undefeated to hit diamond, and that just
yeah.
wasn't necessarily gonna happen.
And it was the
Given your
fastest way
gear
to
and
learn.
stuff too. Yeah, right. So
Um,
yeah, that was pretty solid. Now you just play on your own all the time. So
yeah. No, I definitely think it was the way to go. But just going back to that, I remember when you first showed me the game, specifically for live PvP. I I couldn't believe how quickly the turns went. Like I was expecting it to be a long, drawn out like tactical game, and I was like, you have 30 seconds to make all these decisions. What? Um, so that was a lot to me. Like I couldn't fathom trying to like make all these calculations in my head that quickly and then make a move.
how many
Um,
times did I just go clock, clock? It's just like
yeah,
move,
yeah,
move,
yeah,
move back.
yeah. Move
Open
your.
your abilities.
Yep. That was
No
almost
comment.
every turn. Like literally almost every turn, you would tell me that. But having you there to basically I almost play the game through me. I was making some decisions. It kind of let me see your thought process and why you do things and the order you do it in. And it definitely rubbed off on me and let me learn more quickly. I think by the second class match, I was mostly self-sufficient, but you still offered tips, and then after that, I was mainly able
Yeah,
to
I
to
think
play
the
on my own.
second one I watched you play a lot of them on Discord. So I would stream. My stream would turn off, and then Brian and I would get in a Discord call, and I'd watch his matches. It was like what happened for like 3 class matches in a row.
Yeah.
So then I think the second one I mainly just watched, and like there's something I saw like really critical. It's like watch out for this ability. They're obviously setting it up. And like, but other than that, I mean, yeah, you played mostly on your own.
Yeah, or just telling me
Um,
things to consider on my upcoming turns or, things
or
to
I would
check
answer
on.
questions like if you wouldn't know what to look for on War of the Visions calc, it was like, oh hey, can she hit me from here? And I'd be like, yeah, she's Frederica, or something like
Right,
that.
or, like, what are they immune to?
Yeah,
Like, what kind of statuses can they put on me, that sort of thing. So that was extremely helpful. I don't think I could have had, a better person to help me through that, so kind of felt like
yeah,
cheating in a way.
there's some better, but
Eh,
yeah.
you're
we
good at teaching too,
we
so,
we think alike a lot in a lot of ways, so I think that definitely shows through. But
yeah,
um, yeah. So you're also a little bit of a whale. Uh,
a little bit, a little bit.
just a little bit.
If I
Uh,
like a game, I'm gonna go all in on it, so,
Aren't we all?
um
so you definitely caught up quick as well. You maxed Ruin Stern like immediately as well, right? Because all
uh,
this, because that was Halloween time was when we really started getting those 1K select 40s and select 80 tickets,
yep, yep,
and you just like,
took full advantage of that.
yep. 'Cause I remember there was another time I thought about getting you into the game, which was when Ruin Stern came out, because you like those dark, edgy, great sword, especially the chains, like aesthetically too. I know is the thing. So
Yep,
I was like, oh, he would like this character. I'm like, oh, but he's really expensive, and I know you'll cracking for him. So I'm like, I'm not gonna I'm gonna spare him that.
protecting
And
my
what'd you do
wallet.
anyway? You re-rolled, you got Ruin Stern during your re-roll, and then
Yep. Yep,
but
so that worked out. Oh, another quick aside, Zach's such a great friend, he wanted me to play the game that he even, rolled for Rari for me until an account got him.
and on the
Um,
first try I got him.
uh,
Reminds me of
yeah.
a mutual friend of ours who has been using OG Stern for months and in tournaments and stuff. He recently decided to commit to 120 OG Stern, and
Snacko.
yeah,
Loyal.
I couldn't like just like tell him not to, even though I felt like it was kind of a too big of an investment because he, you're just attached to the character.
Right.
Yeah.
Snacko was, yeah, in the beginning, he was kind of like definitely one of the top dogs, and his Stern was terrifying. I was so frustrated with the fact that he made him bruisery back then, like
Yeah,
before we did that with units, and it's just like you couldn't kill him and he'd still one shot you, and it was so obnoxious. Back when Shuriken was like a terrifying ability, we were like, man, this thing has range 5 and like it deals a lot of damage because it's
yeah,
Stern. It was
and
so stupid.
don't even think about surviving a hazard break.
Oh yeah, of course. No, Hazard Break is just insta kill. There is no number. It's just you're dead. Especially back then. I mean, even on Engelberg, because back then there was still elemental advantage. We just didn't know how to take advantage or disadvantage of it. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, so it'd be interesting. Obviously, I want to have you on here because like we talk a lot about the game and you play a lot of live PvP. You've been top 100 the past 2 class matches now.
So this last one, I was in the top 100 until there was that one extra day. And
Mm,
then I went 3-2 that day, but I still dropped out of the top 100. So I think I was like 115,
That
116.
sucks.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. The one before that, you were like 70 something, right?
70s or 80s, yeah.
You are
Okay.
not alone.
And then getting kicked out, yeah, or bumped out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think I told you somebody was 4th and they got bumped to like 18 or something.
The last day, yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, there's always the argument like, well, you should have won more. It's just another
Oh,
day of
I
matches,
take full responsibility.
but it sucks because you were
Yeah.
planning out. You're
Yeah.
like your mental state was prepared to just like exhale, and then you had another day and you're like, and then you had to play your
Yeah.
matches real quick.
I've heard
Yep.
stories of people that had like different sub jobs. Like that's like you
Mm.
can't if you're not spec for the team you've been winning with, like how are you supposed to, you know,
Right.
especially if it's like a double quicken team.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, I went into one of them with Gunner sub on Nivlu. That was I'm pretty sure I lost that game, but that was back when I was still figuring out my team. So I think I was on like Kane
Yeah,
as
so
my carry or something. But
definitely screwed up a lot of people.
yeah, but yeah. So I thought it'd be interesting though to get your perspective because you've only been playing since Halloween, but
Mhm.
obviously you've experienced a lot of the game already. Like a lot of events have rerun. There's been a lot of updates with units and quality of life things, but at the same time, you've also been here for the transition of like, if there was going to be power creep in the game, it would be besides like there were some checkpoints that we've talked about in the past where it was like Wall's release was a giant power creep in like tank power. Kilfei was a pretty meta defining, but not, I wouldn't say like power creep necessarily, but she was pretty defining.
Mhm.
Agrius would be like the next one after that. And then I think it's the Halloween units were a massive just like blow to our like balancing and power level field, I guess. It's not the words I wanted, but it works. Um where Halloween Leela just took over as like healer, DPS, evade unit, like she just had everything. And then Ryryu is very good in live PvP. He's a lot less in like auto content, I think, in guild battles, except for maybe like one map. Um, but you've been here for the Halloween and forward, and now we have EX jobs and the anniversary stuff. So I'll be curious to hear if you disagree with us necessarily on like maybe how live PvP is going or what you expect for the future. So this will be interesting, I think.
Yeah.
And also one thing just for everybody watching, I think it's going to be very convenient for us. I was talking about this before the podcast that every week or every other week, we're going to have some EX units to talk about. And I think we're going to try to cover all of them as they come out. Like just talk about sort of if we expect the units to have more of a presence in live PvP or a potential presence based on their EX upgrades. Because I mean, even MR and SR units are getting incredible upgrades that make them just even more viable. For example, this week, Phoebe. So yeah, let's jump into that. I think the big boogeyman this week is going to be Gilgamesh. So let's just jump right into him. I know I've seen some mention of people saying there's going to be an ice meta. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I think that it's an option within the meta. So, Daniel, what do you kind of think of Gilgamesh's upgrades? And do you think, I mean, obviously the meta part is probably more for like auto, but just in general, thoughts on Gilgamesh?
Yeah, it's hard to tell exactly how much awareness has really been reached with his extra upgrades for the unit, but uh, barring anything else, just seeing how many Gilgameshes there are in arena this like nowadays, like should be some indication of just how much of an upgrade his X job was for him. I mean, like not even looking at his skills, like his X like stats, he gets +7 agility, and like obviously you get the normal like HP up and stuff, but just purely from stat point, just like 7 agility is amazing. So
He's the fastest Keenblader now, right?
I haven't tested that because I'm really sick of that combo and that TMR, but yeah, it's got to be a huge increase for that. Do you wanna talk about his skills in
Yeah, go for it.
particular?
I'm
Okay,
actually gonna look at yeah, we can dive right into him. I'm just gonna pull up, I'm gonna calculate his agility real quick.
okay, gotcha. Yeah, so probably first and foremost, like the first one that people will probably get is Kotetsu Plus, which is basically it removes re-raise as well as still giving you the slash resist and the same like small damage. But having an AOE
Small
re-raise,
damage.
yeah, having an AOE re-raise removal is just such a huge bound forward from having to rely on just Dwayne for his magic infuse single target removal.
Mhm.
Um, just like uh, just imagine having like Yuna and somebody else that she buffed with re-raise, just both getting that buff removed at the same time as taking this huge, slash res down like area effect skill. Just really crazy. Not to mention like all the buffs that Ice gets. Um, the next significant like upgrade, obviously, the Vorpal upgrade to Excalibur, removing buffs and haste. Haste, especially, like we've seen, that's been important. And whenever we see like a room like dispel all buffs
We get
skill,
excited.
yeah. Well, yeah. So like it hasn't always been like also remove haste. So like having the haste tagged onto this buff removal upgrade is pretty huge as well, especially with like Titus in the meta right now. And then like honestly, my favorite is his job 25 skill, like protective ward. Magic. It's like it's only 20% magic resistance granted to him and his target, instead of like a spell blade like 38% from resist magic. But
Right.
still, I mean like who would have expected like Gilgamesh of all units to be able to buff magic resistance? But like the nullified charm and immobilize, I think is just is what seals the deal for me.
Charm is definitely nice, especially like if you want to do a mono ice team with Gilgamesh, Agrius, and someone else, like probably Orin. Uh, you can just Agrius is already charm immune, so Steelheart can't get her. You can get luck sacked on a Victor LB, but yeah, him just being able to go, hey, you, me, no more charm. Now all three of us are immune. Let's go. And then yeah, the magic resist is great. The only thing is like obviously this is auto, so less relevant to what we're talking about, but he uses it twice to like apply it to everybody instead of just using it once and be like, cool, now we're gonna put armor of discontinuity on and then run in and do things. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you
we
sit
can't
there.
we can't forget to mention like most of the X job boards that I've seen involve like an attack up node or whatever, but he gets an AP up node, and that's incredible. Like being able to start with that much more AP.
Oh, does he get one?
Yeah, like you have to get to job 25 to unlock like the last little button there at the
Oh
top.
yeah, yeah.
But just being able to increase his max AP and his starting AP as a result of that, I believe he
Wait,
starts with 25%. But
wait, is
just
that
like
a leveled? I'm looking at the.
yeah, yeah,
You have to
it's
level
max.
those.
Yeah, it's max. I think it's either 20 or 30.
Oh, it's 20. Fuck, I haven't leveled those at all.
Yeah, make sure to do that.
Oh,
And
that's why the damage level's been so low.
yes,
I saw
yeah,
somebody hitting like 10,099. I'm like, why am I not hitting my 11,999 or whatever? Oh, fuck. That's why?
yeah. So you're gonna need
Oh.
more statues, more Ulcra statues. But
I literally just realized that yesterday.
Oh my god. I haven't. Wait, do you have your Gilgamesh 120'd?
No, I just got mine actually maxed today. Actually, I just got
oh,
10
congrats.
to 99, so now I'm working
Oh.
towards EX. I think I have enough select shards where I could just max them now, but
It's
I'm
worth
gonna
it.
wait to see if I get Orin. I'm still
It's worth
holding
it.
out to see
Oh, you're okay. I see. Yeah, yeah.
do the ice team. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Gilgamesh has been a lot of fun. I've been messing around here and there with Orin, Gilgamesh, and Rosa. That team is disgusting. Like doing the ice barrier, the ice arrow to like break ice resist, and then Kotetsu with the slash resist, and then Orin. Like if they heal up or something, even if like a unit double reacts and she's at full health again, it's like Orin's
Yeah.
gonna kill you.
So we've been talking a lot, like on stream and on the Discord, about how like these lower rarity units with their X job like upgrades suddenly make them like relevant to the point of like they're a UR in disguise kind of thing. Um, Gilgamesh in particular has that same like a growth and upgrade, except for he's already a UUR, so it's just like it's just bonkers, in my opinion.
All right, so he gets 11 agility from there. So he get 11 agility plus 111. Maybe he's not the fastest
Yeah,
Keyblade
I would
user.
still expect like ninja subjobs like Stern that can wear armor to be faster, but like he's still competitive.
I thought somebody said he was the fastest, so that's interesting. I just put Cactuar on him and
Yeah,
Hermes sandals
he
and all that
just
stuff.
he doesn't have like an agility passive to really bump him up there.
Huh. I wonder why they're saying that then. I'll have to check that later or something. Anyway, yeah, no, Gilgamesh has been super exciting. Obviously, a lot of people were concerned with him coming early and how that's going to change the meta because there's no King Mont to like keep him under control. I don't really feel like that's that big of a deal, to be honest. Like, I'm okay with having a slightly different meta than Japan. Like, how boring would it be if it's literally the exact same? Like, oh, this unit comes out and they're clearly the best in Guild Wars on this map for a while, or this unit like came out and didn't do anything in JP, but now we get to use him, like and get use out of him or something. Like, I didn't hear anything about. I didn't see videos of Gilgamesh EX from Japan. I don't think. Again, maybe because of King Mont, but like at least now we have like a use for him for a while for those of us who like him inside of the PvE content, not just like manual
Yeah,
PvP. I don't know.
it,
I'm fine with it being different. Like, no, I don't want to wait till like November to get King Mont or something. Like, don't switch it up that much. But some EXs coming out faster would be nice, especially because a lot of the problems that people have had with the EXs is that they're imbalanced when Yuna comes out because she was like by far the best 120 right out of the gate. But now there's some other good ones that are coming out that might be able to do something. So I don't
yeah,
know. I'm okay with it.
yeah. It's not doing any players that don't have him any favors, but it's interesting seeing how how much sooner Gilgamesh is kind of a counter to Yuna, not just in terms of damage, but like removing re-raise and having like the armor discontinuity and stuff. So yeah, it's just Gilgamesh is suddenly like at the forefront of the meta, and it's interesting.
I mean, just listen. If you have Luartha and you don't like dealing with Gilgamesh, just pull the
Take him
Luartha out. We have
or
a member of
Christmas Mock
our
3.
yeah, exactly. We have a member of our guild who's like basically free to play. He might actually be free to play. I'm not entirely sure. Shout out to Logi if anybody remembers him from or
Yeah,
seen him in
Logi.
streams or anything.
Logi's
But
awesome.
Logi put up a video where he made double quicken Luartha and he one shot my Oron, quicken, one shot my Gilgamesh, and then I was just cool. Like it's like over 7,000 damage on each turn with no chain, just 7,000 damage. It was ridiculous. So yes, Gilgamesh is strong, but now you have another option, like another unit's going to be good in Guild Wars, and then at the same time, this map is actually pretty good for gunners because it's relatively flat, especially if you have like the longer range. So, wait, what do you think about?
Oh, just like the steps leading up to the center. I mean, it's relatively
It
flat.
depends where they stop. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's kind of easy to like kind of get on the same height because of the symmetry of the map. I feel like
Mhm.
that's what you were saying.
Yes. Now, also, is she a gunner or a dual gunner?
Dual gunner, yeah. So she really has to worry about height ranges.
Isn't it the opposite? I thought gunners were the ones that had everything perfectly flat.
It's
Dual
both.
gunners have
I
height
mean,
too.
the dual gunners have horizontal shot for like the height range, but other than that, they really just have to be on the same height mostly.
Dual triggers a range height too.
Oh, okay.
Quadruples range height 2, rapid fires range height 1, split shots 2. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
just like regular gunner that's the flat one because I think that's why Luartha
Yeah,
is
definitely.
really good here, because she can hit everything. Like I haven't seen her get stuck yet, but I mean her sub gunner she'd have issues with, so she's not gonna be like sidewindering people or arm shotting conveniently.
Just imagine if she would.
Now, Brian, I know you were briefly testing with Luartha, right? What did you kind of see with her, given
Uh,
the ice meta?
yeah, so that plan kind of took a halt because I didn't realize that we can only get 199 Esper right now. So I was going to use a 99 Ifrit on her, but I already got Bahamut 99. Um, because 99 Ifrit has fire attack up and a lot of ice killer. So I did a builder on Wappy Kelk, and she ended up having something ridiculous like 40 ice killer and like 70 something fire attack up. It was ridiculous. But I'm probably going to use the MR Fire Esper now, who still has Fire Tech up and Ice Killer, just a little bit less.
Okay.
But I plan to
Rarely.
one shot all ice units.
I plan to one shot all ice units. Good plan.
Good to plan for that.
Head with the confidence that it is sure to happen. um. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any other like major comments about Gilgamesh. I mean, honestly, it's just he's very good. Like it's just a solid upgrade. Having another tool against Yuna is great. You can sort of build some anti-magic ice teams, whether you have Agrius, Oron has some natural magic resistance. Like the tools are there to make a successful team, and I like the fact that it's another option. So you don't feel like you have to do like this light meta or something to specifically counter exactly the light meta teams. I like this mix up a lot. I think the concerns are understandable that it came out early, but I really just don't care. I think it's fine. I don't
Yeah,
think it's breaking the game. I think obviously it's very strong. It's just not. It's not too bad. Not compared to everything else we have.
yeah, I agree. It's really cool because he seems to be kind of like a jack of all trades unit. In my opinion, I haven't piloted him myself since I just maxed him, but he just has a lot of options. He can do damage. He can buff. He can quicken. So it's just really cool that he can kind of fit into any kind of team depending on how you want to use him, which I enjoy a lot.
He's a lot like playing Nivlu. I know you've used Nivlu a lot.
Yep.
Where it's sort of like support to start, but converts to carry later when needed, and just happens to have a lot of AP because you've been like hasting your team and quickening your team. They just come in with like Kotetsu, Kotetsu back to back.
Yeah, yeah,
Very similar playstyles.
Yeah.
And with versatile passives too, because you could have like the float or the auto float, which gives him float status and jump +1, so you can actually like go over walls and stuff, which is nice.
And going off the comment really quick regarding the order of release being different than JP, I think that's honestly good, just because it's not fun when another group of people already gets to figure out the meta. And at least in my opinion, theory crafting is what's exciting. And if it's already been solved, not that they solve everything 100%, but if it's already been mostly solved, and then you just copy what they do for the most part, it's not as fun as having to figure out what's meta yourself and what's best currently.
You mean like figuring out Keyblade?
Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it's the two different cultures of players. So, like we can't always rely on the everything to be figured out anyways. So I
Right.
I, I kind of appreciate that at least.
I definitely think the schools of thought are different between like just culturally, societally. I don't know where necessarily it stems from, but there's definitely a difference between how gamers in Japan think about games in general. Like obviously there's going to be exceptions to all these types of generalizations, but you see it across like other games too. I mean, whether it's like League of Legends or something, like the metas are always very different between regions, especially with new releases. And then they maybe over time they take stuff from each other and it homogenizes a little bit, but there's always going to be that little bit of a style difference. And I think that this game it shows through a lot. Like I mean, we got to sort of building non-bruiser units, bruisers very early, like Golem Ayaka. I don't know that I saw that come from Japan, but like that was a pretty big thing here for a while. You just stick Golem and Leona's Castle on your Medina or your Ayaka, and it's like, oh, all of a sudden they're not dying in one hit, and then they're doing their job reliably the rest of the fight. And people are like, oh, why don't you have like Shiva on them or Diablos or something? I'm like, because I like my people to live, and then they kill you. Like,
Question mark?
it's just there's a lot of interesting things. Now, on the other side of that, we've mentioned this before, which is we do have the gift of foresight, so we know generally what's going to happen. So we can sort of we have a lot more time to think about things as they're like on their way 3 or 4 months in advance. So I guess it kind of goes both ways. Maybe something would have been different there if they had that foresight, but
I think it also comes down to just how many players are playing. Like they have some big brain players over there, but like how many
for
how
sure.
many of how many of them are active like we are, but also creating content.
Mhm.
And I think it's just a kind of lack of content that is probably the biggest disparity.
Yeah, I could see that too. Although I guess there's a lot of JP content creators we don't even know about though. Like we don't even know how to
Yeah, I'm
find because
sure.
we can't like type their language or like understand what's happening in the video labels. We just kind of scroll past it. Because I know I hear Cabbage talk all the time. Like there's this vast community of content creators that I've just never heard of before. Not that he's really dropped names, but apparently they exist. So okay, moving down the EX list here. Have either of you seen much of Medina?
I have not.
So I know I have a guildmate who just refuses to not use Medina in like any content, and it's he's been yelled at a few times because he was trying to do evade without a Sage's hat on like some of his units, and he's like, "Oh, he's just semi's good enough," kind of thing. It's like
That that
maybe
is an
not.
interesting line in the sand to draw.
But but I know that even before her EX, like the day before her EX, or 2 days before, whenever the last guild battle we had before she came out, he like damage capped somebody with a Cosmo Plume. We were like, oh sweet. We're like, wait, the EX comes out Wednesday. How'd you do that now? um, so I think he's been using her. I don't know how developed she is, but yeah, I really haven't heard outside of him people talking about her. But I think giving her the spirit penetration really brings her to the same level as a lot of other casters that have come out, like Sakura or anyone who really has like the Kodadama sub or other ways to penetrate their magic resistance or spirit penetrate or spirit. Um,
I
and
agree.
throwing that just on a passive that you're going to have on her anyway, in most cases, the magic up. So I think that's a solid difference. Her flare costing less AP is pretty sweet, but that's I think the cast time's the same, the range is the same, damage is the same. So I think it's just the AP being less,
Get an
which
extra cast of it.
which isn't nothing. Yeah, it goes from 50 to 42, so still a shit ton. It's basically an LP. Oh, her LP is 69. Nice. Um, then her 25 job level is Blizzara bracket Arcana. So she has two Blizzaras now. But this one decreases healing power. Oh, and spirit. Oh, I missed that part.
Yeah, it's a D shell basically.
Oh, wow. So yeah, it's D shell plus healing power. Okay, that's pretty good.
I mean,
Range
it's
4
five
plus 1.
less. It's five less max, but it's fucking D shell.
Yeah, it's D shell 25. Yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, she actually I didn't realize that's what her 25 did. That's pretty sweet actually. I like that. How tanky does she get any sort of like anything like HP wise or no, she really doesn't. Oh, gross.
I was a little tempted just for like nostalgia's sake, but I've already maxed Elda and King Rob or King Elda and King Rob for nostalgia's sake, and yeah, Medina can wait.
Yeah, it seems like she has some cool tools, but I it would take there's so many other EXs I would do before her that I would put resources into. And honestly, we talked about for a second these elemental fragments and prisms like being insane bottlenecks if you want to do like it feels like back in day one where you're trying to build multiple units of the same element and you literally couldn't because back then we didn't have the conversion shop, so it's like whatever you got from quest drops, there you go, unless you want to like buy some real shitty price packs to get a couple fragments. But man, I feel like that all over again. Like trying to do like multiple EXs or something in the same element. Like I did Orin and Gilgamesh, and that's only because I wailed a bit for some select tickets and converted like all of my. I picked. There's an element I knew I wasn't going to do much with for a while for EXs, so I just converted it all over. But holy moly, is this is this brutal? Have you
Yeah,
guys like? Are you feeling the same thing?
for sure. Yeah. I mean, I've only done Titus and or Titus and Una so far, but I mean, I'm keeping an eye on my resources, and uh, I'm I have to be very careful with what I plan ahead now. I kind of got spoiled, like you said, when I started with all the select tickets and whatnot. But um, yeah, I think you really have to plan ahead for what you want because you're not going to be able to do everything, at least not quickly.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling that resource drain. Yeah, like at one point I had like over 10 like tickets for like I don't know like 100 or even more prisms at a time. It's prisms especially. It's not even
Mm-hmm.
fragments.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, like I found myself just like chugging through these select tickets. I've managed to balance out now that I have like 7 like X jobs, like almost basically maxed at this point. So
That's
but yeah,
crazy,
the
dude.
the initial investment was like thank God I don't like I can finally slow down on that.
I think I've
Because
done 3 EXs or 4. I'm already feeling like,
yeah,
ugh.
it's like at one point you're like, why do I need to spend on things that give me these tickets? Like I'm never gonna run out of these. And suddenly we're using them, and it's like, oh, okay, like I have a use for these finally. Whale
Yeah, I
problem? I
mean,
don't know.
yeah, I mean, my whaling habits earlier in the game before we had like way better pack choices, I would frequently get the 3 rainbow fragment one because I just wanted to have a bunch of units, and that's just how I
Yeah,
got so many units max really fast. Like by the first time Tower came out, I think I had 1999 units. Um, which back then was like ridiculous. I remember people on stream being like, "How the fuck do you have those?" I'm like, "Rainbow tickets, bro."
yeah,
Rainbow fragment. But they came with those prism
yeah.
tickets.
I think
So
that's
for
what
a
I was thinking
while,
of.
I just had like I think I had. I'm not gonna say how many I had at one point, but 'cause someone can back calculate that math and make me, you know. Anyway, I had a lot, and I started using them very gratuitously. I would need like 40 to awaken a unit. I'm like, all right, spend a ticket, and now it's I wish I had it back. I
Yeah.
definitely used to convert all the time. So I'm like, I have such a surplus of these materials, and now that's just not true.
And it's something that should be noted that like we're lucky that we have been playing since day one, and we've been accruing these like day after day. It's definitely not doing newer players any favors.
Yeah, I mean, even just like doing the event like clears, you'll get like 20 fragments of this, 20 prisms of that here and there, and that stuff added up over time. But like Brian, so how many EX jobs do you have? You said you just have 2 so far, right?
Yeah, just Una and Titus.
Would you have enough to do say 1 unit of every element, like without having to convert stuff over?
Um, I
Roughly.
I think so. I think probably one of every element, but that's only because I really focused on stocking up on the prisms and everything over the last events. Like any excess tokens I had farmed for events, I'd buy prisms for. So I planned ahead for that. But it wasn't just things that were given to us over time. I actually decided to buy those over other things.
That's true, actually. I didn't think about that. I haven't bought those from event like redemption shops in quite some time, but actually that is a good source of them that I am gonna have to
Yeah.
go farm for now. I wasn't gonna really do the Rundle event at all, but I don't think I have those bought out of the shop yet, so I'll have to go back and do that.
So for anyone kind of trying to keep track, the prisms and the fragments we're talking about, the total that you need from 16 to 25 is 280 of that element.
Damn, really? It's that much?
Yeah,
Oof.
it's 120 for like the initial like breaking into the X like job 16, and then like buying stuff like throughout the tree or whatever, it adds up to like another 160 after that 120.
Okay, well. Now is it the same across all rarities?
Yes.
Damn, so
Sorry,
even
sorry,
Zaza.
sorry. When you said rarities, I heard elements.
Oh no,
Not
no, no, no.
sure about the rarities.
Okay.
But so while we're talking about building that, like to max or to get all the X job stuff from 16 to 25, you need basically like just under 80k JP. So also keep that in mind.
I've definitely been using my JP keys. Here I'm checking Zazan right now because I did awaken Zazan. Zazan is love and Zazan is life.
Sure.
Yeah, it looks like all of his like the max level ups are the ones that are always like 20ish, right? Or like 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, so his are all the same. Yeah, so 50/50 is 100, 120, 135, 155 plus the two I already got. So yeah, there doesn't matter your rarity apparently. Like it might be slightly different, but it's basically it's a lot still. That's crazy. Okay. Oh yeah, spoiler. I got Zazan EX jobbed. And I don't have Titus EX jobbed yet.
Priorities.
I chose him over for my water. I don't have all of the shards for Titus yet. I think I have
Yeah.
I can't even check actually right
It's
now.
it's
But
smart to do like the slow ride, honestly, if you have the opportunity for your
take it
Final Fantasy 10
easy.
units.
Yeah. Um yeah, man, he's so cool though. Like I want to use them together. Like the idea of doing Titus plus Zazan just like really appeals to me. And actually, while we're on that topic, let's touch on the vision card that came out.
I was waiting for
Convenient
that.
transitions. Uh, the I think this card's pretty great. But specifically on water units. So they allow you to get an ability on Mont and Elsorel, but they don't get anything else from the like bestowed or party ability. So it's kind of a weird mishmash. The fact they made it like a water only card, but pointed out you pointed this out before the cast. We were kind of doing our prep that it gives 20 AP and 5 agility, which is not nothing. And that's pretty good. Would you guys use this on not Zazan or not water units, or would you kind of stick with that? We'll start with Brian.
Um, Probably not. I could see it maybe if you want to throw in Elsrel or I guess maybe EX Mott in a team with two water units. I could see maybe because the human killer is not bad. But I think really this is what you want to use on a full water team.
Yeah, I agree. I think honestly, the only like niche situation I can see like maybe trying to use this for just these specific things that aren't water related is for like maybe like a double quicken team. Like you're trying to tune your agility. There's 5 agility right there, and like maybe it'll help you like kind of like tune to the rest of the teams. But yeah, like I said, niche.
But on Zazan, well, we can talk about his EX sort of in line with the Vision card. I think. Do we think he might actually be usable in live PvP now? Like, I previously he was usable, right? You could double quicken him or something. He's got 6 or 7 movement if you have Kane TMR, and he goes across. He charms people, or he steals time, steals vision. He gets really annoying and really in your face. But his attack is pretty high now. I think when I was looking at the builder, he had like 395 or something, just with his own little like kit. He gets Brotherhood now, so he gets the 8 slash and 8 water attack on that, plus the whatever the attack value is, which is better than a slash 15. He gets this vision card if you want, which gives him 20 like human killer, man eater, whatever. I feel like how many different ways is it said in this
Yeah.
game? Like it's ridiculous. But then the 35 water attack, which is basically a siren. What is a siren? Plus some accuracy, which to be fair, he's still an N rarity unit. His accuracy is not going to be like amazing, especially against like innately high evade units. But I really think that this could potentially make him playable I mean, have you looked into his stats much at all, Daniel?
Not his stats, but I've seen a video of him on an arena team doing like a 5K something like Killer Blade, and I'm so glad that he doesn't have Stone Throw Mastery.
Like Mont just tink,
Yeah,
tink. Man, can you imagine him kiting? Just like
yeah,
knock you in the
I
shin,
can,
move back a bunch, knock you in the shin, move back a bunch.
and just like pairing him with like Winter Victoria and Tidus, yeah, that just oh my
Ooh,
god, it'd be crazy. So,
filthy.
but yeah, he does have to get kind of close and personal, like you're used to, but he has the chance to with like up to 7 move or whatever. So,
Well, his
it's
killer blade goes up to a 300 mod too. Like it was a 205 before, which is already really high for just an ability in general. But to go to 300, that's 22% lower than a flare. Like he's basically flaring you with a sword.
yeah.
Like it's
So
crazy.
like we were saying before, just like suddenly these upgrades make them like URs in disguise.
Yeah, and like the card gives him 20 human killer, which puts that
Yeah, just even more.
murderous blade now at 320, 2% less than flare.
More than meets the eye, you could say.
Have you looked at it much at all, Brian? I know you don't even have Zazan like built, right? Because the
No, so
you
up
started
until
Halloween.
yeah, so up until the element masters came out, I left them at level 1, but I leveled them up just to get some more levels towards the masteries. But I haven't really used them. I have gone against them pretty much just with Quicken Charm. But just what I know about him, I think he does that much damage. You can still charm with him. I could see it with like a quicken or a double quicken. Yeah, kind of kiting in and out in between turns. Where you go and do damage, get out again before they can get in range of you. And kind of just do a hit and run tactic. I could probably see that being cool. I'd have to see it in action, but seems plausible.
And he also gets this March of the Juggernaut buff, which is an improved discipline. So previously it was just 40% attack, which is good, but I mean 40% of an N rarity unit stats is not a ton. Now it's a lot more, and he also gets 20 human killer on top of that. So yeah, these modifiers are stacking up for like all of his new buffs and new tools. I I'm gonna have to really play around with him. Actually, here's something just actually for me. What are the sources of actually maxing this fishing card? It's just farming the shards or using anniversary medals, right? Like there's no and the bingo board. But is there anything else you can do
Um,
for it? Because I thought it said
well,
there were gonna be like challenge quests, but that's the board.
I haven't seen anything. I just know that it's not limited, at least via the notices.
Oh,
Yeah, I haven't
actually,
seen.
it says it on Watt Calc too. It's not limited. Okay, a little less
So
stress then.
yeah, but yeah, I spent 200 medals and just did the bingo board and stuff. But I wanted to make sure to mention like they gave him a hazard break for his job 25 skill,
Oh
and
yeah, it's true actually.
like it's like 20% like less modifier or something like that, but just human killer on top of that is just like oh my god.
Well, it makes it right. Like that turns it into a 230
Yeah,
mod, which is
and then
five percent higher.
like he's got so many sources of human killer now. It's just crazy.
Which is
Not
ironic
surprised
because
to
he's
see him.
the unkillable.
Yeah, right. I'm not surprised to see him do that much damage. And I've never been a Zazan fan. I've never tried to hide that. So yeah, just seeing this upgrade though, it's like really, it's actually cool to see. In spite of that,
I think definitely, yeah, if you pop bells on him and then he just like runs in, gets quickened, march a juggernaut, quicken again, and just like kill across their whole team. Like you could maybe just like kill people that way. And if you've got, I guess double quicken not with Titus, but if you have Titus on the team, giving you the water bonus too for extra water attack. Like there's a lot of sources of ways to buff him up now.
yeah. I mean, and it's important to note that he doesn't really have many tools to deal with a lot of the recent units. Like, like he doesn't have a barrier break or like a re-raise and removal or courage removal or anything like that. So in that way, in that sense, he's kind of like a Sid that doesn't have like a Shadow Blade.
Mhm.
He's kind of pure damage, but like never ever forget that he has Steel Heart, which is just like a tide changer in itself. So it kind of makes up for that kind of lack of a tool set that we're kind of slowly getting more used to.
I guess as a rite of passage for the podcast, Brian, how do you feel about Charm?
Um, to say I'm not a fan would be an understatement. Um, when I first started playing Charm, you could turn off your abilities. It was back then, so it wasn't as bad. But shortly after I started playing, it didn't matter. Your unit would just use all its abilities. So I Not that I think it's necessarily overpowered, although it may be leaning that way in certain maps or metas. But it's just unfun. It's just not fun to play against or play with, in my opinion. So I'm not a huge fan.
I always got to get a couple more echoes in the chamber when we get new guests on this on the podcast. Like you hate charm too, right? It's bullshit. All right.
So yeah, Zach wouldn't let me come on the podcast unless he confirmed to
Yeah.
me that I would bash Charm. So
Yeah, right.
that's the
That was the
that's a
pre-interview.
dirty secret. Yeah.
I actually tell everybody what to say before every podcast. Yeah, totally. No, half the time I don't even know what I'm going to say on the podcast. So let's be honest here. Moving down the EX line, let's talk about an old favorite, which is Phoebe. So Phoebe finally got her EX. With that, she gets more agility. So she's still not quite as fast as Shell, but she's approaching. But she gets a lot more durability, I guess, is what I've heard. I haven't seen her stat line. I'm looking now. She gets some more HP. It doesn't look like she's that much, though.
I saw her in Team Builder with 97 agility.
Oh, agility for sure. I was talking about HP. Like someone was saying she
Sorry.
was a lot bulkier.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to say
Oh,
that.
that's sure. Oh, that's right.
I confess I wasn't even listening.
That's fine. But she gets high speed cast, which is an upgraded speed cast with 12% agility on it. So yeah, she's almost as fast as Shell. I think she's only a little bit slower. I haven't done the math.
What about with the Bahamut card? Because Bahamut gives light units agility.
Well, yeah, but you can just have like Black Rosalna,
Yeah,
and
true.
everybody gets 15. So, her quicken, it's the same amount of time, but it gets +1 range. Range 4 on a quicken is actually kind of significant. There are definitely times where you don't want to end your movement in certain spots, but you have to because of quicken, or you would prefer to cast the move, but you're like one space away because you had to make your other unit a certain distance. Like that one can change games 100%, and you can still use her on sub white mage and get access to the full life, protect, shell. I think there may be arguments now, like although she's not as like lightning blazing fast as Shell, and also she has a 1 tick slower quicken, she may be good enough to be played over Shell for people who, preferred Shell. Not to mention she gets an AoE agility buff as her EX25 skill with a relatively quick cast time. I think it's 2. Ooh, it is still 3 ticks even with the speed cast. Oh well. And then she also gets what's the other thing? Yep. Forgetting. Daniel, you know what I was gonna say?
It's really just those 3 things, right? The passive agility, the quicken +1, and the speed force.
Lower cost. So she's 40 cost instead of 50 like Shell. So instead of doing like if you want to use like a 100 cost unit like Gilgamesh or something, if you want to do like Gilgamesh and Shell, you needed to use a 70 cost unit for the 220 class matches. But if you're using Phoebe, you can use an 80 cost unit, which I think is a significant difference. There's a lot more options. What's that?
I thought we were talking about upgrades. I was like confused. Like her cost did not lower.
No. I was saying that's the other consideration for like her versus Shell, because I think that's the most obvious comparison, right? It's like comparing the low cost quicken bots that are fast. So having that 10 less can be significant. Specifically, if you want to play her with a unit like Gilgamesh or Runestern or Dwayne or something that has that 100 cost tacked on, that extra 10 just opens up a whole world of other possibilities. So I think she might be useful. And Brian, do you have Phoebe maxed? Have you used her much?
I don't have her maxed. I haven't used her.
That's so weird. Like for us, it was like Phoebe was like one of the first units that almost everybody maxed in the beginning of the game because she was so versatile. She had full life, quick, and all these tools. And for live PvP, she was a nice low investment unit when maxing units took months.
Yeah, when you like it's the original like cost 220 like unit cost total 220 team is like Gilgamesh and then maybe Runestern later, Phoebe, and then like cost 80 like UR unit of your choice.
Right. So yeah, I mean she was just this thing like everybody just has a Phoebe. Like it's just something you have. So it's so interesting to hear that you don't have her max.
It's only because
it was never
Shell
a thing.
came out. Yeah, Shell came out like 2 weeks after I started.
Right. Oh, it's so strange. Oh man, that's like saying I guess you maxed Mont, right?
No. Nope, he's like level 70.
Man, the other man,
Nice.
talk about another difference. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
it was
screw
like
that guy.
it was like Mont was first maxed, Phoebe was second maxed, and it was like Orlando was the third maxed or something like that for so many people, I think. So,
He's
so it
sitting
has
in the Chocobo expeditions. He'll be max sometime within the next year.
who?
Mont.
Wait,
That's
what? Just buy his fucking things. You can buy it
I
for
mean,
Gil.
oh no, I mean XP. He's like level 70, so he's just sitting in the
Oh, okay.
Chocobo
Oh,
expedition.
Chocobo. Oh, I thought you said in
Yeah.
the guild barracks. I'm like, get him out of there. Just buy his shards.
Oh, I have all his shards. He's just like level 70. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Jesus. Now, what is your just aside? Now that I'm thinking about updates and just your account age in general, what's your highest elemental mastery?
Light.
What's like the number?
Stand by.
Anyway, while I'm talking, let me see if there's anything else with Phoebe, or while he's
Good.
looking, rather.
It's 20.
Nice.
Pretty
good.
good.
I feel like we can't understate how awesome her job 25 skill is. Like she is a like time mage.
Talk about it. I haven't given that much
white-
thought yet. So.
She gets the like one of the best green mage buffs, and it's AoE. It's not like single target vitalize. It's an AoE vitalize, and that's just crazy in terms of giving her another tool to use as a support character. Cost 40 on like these limited cost teams. Yeah, like if like it's like in terms of like lower rarity units, it's always about like, well, how high of an agility can they really get to? Does it really make them viable? Like making it so that she has access to an agility buff, but then making it like AOE so she can buff her entire team.
Mhm.
I think that's just crazy and unexpected, and just like kind of a really cool thing.
I almost see like a really cool team of like Titus, her, and someone else. Turn one, go Histega plus Speed Force plus whatever the other unit wants to do, like bells or
Like
something, and then they just just like
like
rush forward with this massive speed.
Yeah, and it's always like kind of this conversation that's happening in the background in the PvP community that's been happening this entire time. Is just like the agility stat is king in PvP, and so like it's kind of been in the background a lot. But there's stuff like this that suddenly it's like, oh hey, like this is a fresh reminder of just like how good an agility buff is.
I mean, 25% on most units, like it is just base, but like
Yeah.
most units have at least 40. I can't think of anyone that's under 40, right? Base at
Yeah,
max level.
I can't think of anything that's
There's only a few under 50. So like
yeah,
let's
like
just say you're at
48.
50. Let's just say you're at 50, right? That's going to be 10 plus another 5% would be so like 12.5 agility, and then that 0.5 decimal normally would just drop off for like a individual buff, but the way percentages add up and then get recalculated, you maybe get like that 13th point from this. So that's a significant bump in agility. Like that's like 2 bells almost. It's crazy. So yeah, no, I agree. This is an interesting thing. And then like I said, with her speed cast, she goes down to 750 with a 320 cast, 3 ticks. So unless you have like Trousseau on the team, but
It's also got like some nice like heights. It's a range height 2, AoE height like 1. Like
oh, it is too.
it's
Yeah,
not
that's
like
forgiving.
it's not like constricted or like restricted to like 0 height range.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. And then wait, how much more magic does she get with her EX? It's 54. So she goes up to like what, 173, 54. She actually has over
Yeah. I think I saw her built
almost
to like,
300.
I think I saw her built to like 900 or something when I was looking at the snapshot somebody posted, like the 97 agility.
So I mean,
Vinny.
those meteors might hurt now.
Vinny was like suddenly we're going to be seeing a lot more meteors, and
Yeah.
I was like privately I was like, well, she like it's non-elemental, like she you can't really use the prunus staff or whatever, but yeah, still she's always done like awesome like
You're still getting the
damage with
15
meteor and comet,
magic attack on that though.
Yeah,
Like, it's not as good as like a light. Like if the meteor was light,
Yeah,
It
that
would be
was it.
stupid.
Yeah, stacking with like a light team, just insane. But yes, like don't underestimate Phoebe. Basically, now less than ever,
Yeah, I really think
or
she's gonna
more than ever.
be. Yeah, right. Well, however that works. Well, however words work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. She's very good. She's a little bit charm resist too. Yay! Always that little bonus, but that's always been there.
And then there's Gilgamesh with with his buff.
Right, right. He just buffs her. I guess I don't know what target you'd have after that, but any other thoughts about Phoebe before we move on? All right, let's
I
go.
like her. I might build her.
Oh, there you go. Going. I think relatively low investment too. You should have a lot of SR rocks by now, right? So you can just kind of awaken her. I'm sure you have all the shards for at least her 99.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably shouldn't
Yeah.
be too bad.
Easily the best SR available right now. Easily.
I don't know, man. Severo. Don't you talk shit about my boy Severo.
We were building, so we finished several at like the same time.
Yeah, we did. And then I had Aaron and I from the guild. We did the first raid ever, the chocolate flan with Miranda Severo. And we damage capped to Severo and we like, oh my god. Like, 'cause back then you didn't have like, I think I had a max trousseau, but it took a lot of work to get that thing maxed. And
Yeah,
it
somebody.
was a lot of fun.
So, we did the same thing like on somebody's Twitch stream, and they still have like a clip saved of like Severo missing like 3 times in a row or whatever, because his accuracy isn't the greatest. But yeah,
Right.
he can still keep up with the damage.
So last EX unit for this batch was Sir O. And he actually has something I noticed that I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's the first unit to get an upgrade ability on his sub job for his main job. So he gets a buffed illusion, which is insane by the way. It gives himself 50 evade instead of 25, which is a shit ton of evade flat. But it's on his sub samurai, and I don't think any other EX jobs have a sub job only ability upgraded.
I haven't been paying attention, honestly.
Because I normally only check their their passives, their counters, and then their main job because it's the only places you see the upgrades or the new ability. But yeah, his is there. I don't. I like I said, I can't think of an exception right now. Someone in the comments will correct us if we're wrong. I'm sure, and please do. I found that very interesting though. But anyway, so evade with O, he was already one of the highest evade units. If you guys didn't know, top 10. Now that he's EX'd, I believe he jumps up even higher, even in JP still. Sub Samurai, he gets a +1 range on his Hien, and it does same damage, but it increases his own agility now. And then what's his other buff? Oh, are those the only 2 buffs? Oh, and his new skill is a 175 damage mod that decreases CT, and it's piercing in like all 4 directions, 2 spaces. So it's like a bigger Oborozuki, or yeah, brain piercer, a little less range, but and decreasing CT. I mean, we've seen effects like this before that it can be the difference between a win. Like if someone's about to go, but yours is like, say you're at like 97 CT and they're at 100, you just knock them down below your 97. Now your unit's gonna take a turn first, and there you go.
Yeah,
so
it's the same modifier as like a staff mage's elemental staff or like Yuna's sonic wings.
Oh, Sonic Wings is 175.
It's a 15% CT decrease.
Oh, you're talking about the CT decrease. Sure. Yeah, so I'll be curious to see if people start using him as well. I don't think you're gonna see like mono lightning necessarily, but doing some sort of evade team with maybe Halloween Leela, O, and like Lastwall or something, or
Samurai
Lone Star,
Bros.
remember? Exactly. Yeah, that's why I went for Lastwall. I can't wait for Seymour, dude. Oh, when Seymour comes out, it sucks 'cause I'm saving all my fire materials for Mish, but I have to have stuff for Seymour too. And not being able to do both of them will break my heart. Any thoughts about him? I know he's kind of more one of the units that's like, oh, he came out too, pun intended with the name there.
I will add that he does have that more recent MR card that he gets
True.
increased attack and defense penetration from. So I could see him possibly being used in a class match that's very cost restrictive, where you could use an MR card, get a lot of value out of it, and his lower cost as well. Maybe with some other higher cost evade units.
Yeah, I think we're projecting the next one to be a 540 cost again, where it's like all of the stuff counts, which please stop making 540 cost. It's not restrictive. Like, God, either make something impactful. 220 was cool, but like do 500 cost or even like 480. Like really put the pressure on people.
I'm really glad that you mentioned that because that was going to be like something quick that I added on to the end of the episode. But like, I'm so ready with Gilgamesh, with Bomb Esper, and Phoebe with her X job maxed. I'm ready.
So stupid. It's so dumb.
I recently maxed my Bomb Esper, and I'm just kind of happy about it. Like I can finally get to that point where like these high level like live PvP players have got to with that like underestimated Esper.
Well, the 3-star's coming out soon too, right?
I don't even know. Just let me bask in like the I haven't maxed him to 2-star finally.
Yeah, well, you should be aware that he's one of the like I think he's the second or third batch of Espers that comes out with his EX or with his EX job, his
Close enough.
awakening. Yeah, he gets an HP increase thing, but he gets where's the other crit damage? He gets more human killer. I guess his human killer stays the same.
I can't wait to see like with his 3-star. I can't wait to see like Mako try to blow up Cthulhu with it.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, he gets an increase of HP of 15%
once her X comes out.
Oh man, I'm actually looking at his board. It's not nearly as exciting as I was remembering.
Oh really? Does he
before.
At least get the fire element up?
No.
What?
He gets. He already had Ice Killer, right? It looks like the direction. Yeah, he already had. Yeah, the only things he really got extra were crit damage added on, and then HP percent is like the side that goes like really far out now. That's HP, and that's about it. Okay, never mind. Much less exciting for the level 99, but you get one more agility. He goes up to just under 1,000 HP, like 988.
That's a lot.
Crazy. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a fucking lot on him. So I think you should still be excited.
Back to class match, the next class match we're anticipating. I'm saying it's probably 2 weeks out. I'm expecting it to be like the third-ish week of April. But honestly, who can tell, right? Like, don't hold me to that. That's just kind of my expectation. Like, we have
not gonna lie though,
approximately 2 weeks.
You've been right most of the time. It's been kind of freaky.
Thank you. Yeah. But yeah, it's just been paying attention to like each month and the schedules and shit. But it's it's so hard to pin down. You can't guarantee something will be out. But yeah, 540 cost total, and it's gonna be healing down. That's what we're expecting for the rule set.
So another either Gunner's Paradise or Super Tanky Bruiser Paradise.
Dude, yeah, you can't even tell right now. Probably double quick and Gunners as usual.
Probably.
We know the map.
Yeah, it's the
Mountain Road.
one we did the tournament on. Yeah, the Mountain Road map with the crazy middle section with the 2 walls and the choke points on the side.
As if anyone wasn't still like jaded and tired of that map by now, and from just like how long it was in arena.
So I have a bit of experience in that map in one of the outside tournaments we participated in, and I think Gunner's probably if healing is down. It's flat, unless you're in the middle, it's flat on both sides, so you can snipe across pretty easily. So yeah, I agree. Gunners, bruisers, we'll have to see what people pull out.
I guess to be fair, the walls block a lot of like gunner abilities, right? But sharpshoot would just go over whatever you want them to hit. Doesn't matter their height.
Yeah, I should say missile users. Yeah.
Yeah, like I expect to see Christmas Mastery against all these ice teams.
Well, yeah, especially I mean, at least it does make it a little more interesting. Like if you have to do double quicken, it's going to have to be a missile unit or somebody with like jump 3 or more, like a dragoon or something, because you need to be able to get over that middle.
Guess who that is?
Christmas Mastery. Yeah. It's just like the actual perfect unit. Especially if people are on the Gilgamesh hype train, which I mean, why wouldn't you be with a 540 cost restriction? Anyway, any other thoughts on class match? We'll talk about class match when it gets closer, and or like when we kind of have that inkling it's gonna be the next week. We'll have your Spidey senses tingle again, and we'll talk about it. But
just a quick add-on, I guess for the class match. Do you think Una will be used since healing is down? I mean, she still does a ton of damage and has re-raise, but one of her biggest strengths is she heals for like 10k sometimes.
Let me ask you a question. When you were fighting Danyl and his unit had healing down, how much did she heal for?
It was still their full health bar. You're right. Yeah.
So
how much is how much is healing down in this next class match, guys?
It's Does it really matter? It's
Just
the
like
same as it's always
99.
been. It's the same kind of modifier, like minus 50%.
Oh, but actually, that's true though, because if it's on multiple units, it's compounded, so it ends up being like 10% overall, right? If it's like the other class match
Something
we
like
had, so
that.
it actually might be significant this time.
But if it's just on herself, like
Like Aeon Bond, yeah.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, honestly, it's not just that. Like, just what um, if we're gonna see any evasion, like she's one of the top um, counters to evasion with just her instant cast LB. It's guaranteed hit, especially with its range and its area of effect.
Hmm.
So I think we can still probably expect to see her, depending on who is using her and in what team comp.
Yeah.
For sure. And then actually, another update thing, real quick, before I go on to my last topic here. The Tidus's necklace from the box event. How are you guys doing on the box event so far?
Uh,
Surprisingly well. You first.
yeah. So I've only been farming tickets so far, so I kind of have to take the next few days to bait out the boss fight. But I have a few thousand tickets, like 3 or 4K, I think. Um, I'm ready to spend them all.
Yeah, you're gonna be set. Like for me, I've been kind of slowly like farming. There's just been so many other stages that I've been farming. Like I talked about this maybe last week or just on stream or something. It kind of blurs together. But I had like 1,800 tickets to get through today, and I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna set the hard boss on auto, and I got down to like 400 tickets. So yeah, like as long as you can have like an auto team that can perform, can finish the stage, like you should be able to blow through those 3 or 4K, and you're gonna have more than enough to max it. Like I was not expecting to, like I'm like on my third refresh of the fifth like lineup, like lineup 5, and I have not been farming. I'm like below 2 million points total. So you're gonna
Oh
be able to
wow.
get
Okay,
you're gonna be able to get at least 1+5 necklace. Like I'm about to finish mine
that's good to know. I think this is definitely one that if you can get to, just because the magic resistance 10% is, I believe, the only source of that so far.
for
We
for
we we
accessory. Yeah.
yeah, we have. Well, do we have a 10% somewhere? I know we have 8%.
Yeah, the Bale Gauntlet, right? But I don't think. Yeah, I don't think we
Oh,
have a 10%.
oh, it's 10.
That's 8.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I think it's definitely going to be worth, if you have the time, you have the resources to definitely get it up. Flat Dex is nice. The Spirit, it's probably Barriers, the base one that you would normally do, right? The 16
Yeah.
Spirit. Yet another item that enables you using cool like armor TMRs. Since you get the 16 Spirit here, you get the Magic Resist passive, so cool armor TMRs, Daniel, not glinting armor. And the crit damage is interesting. That's obviously, I'm gonna have to cheese around with Mariluke again, putting that on her, and just like putting all of like Titus's boots, put Titus's necklace, just deck her out in Abe's gear, and then give her what would be Cactor as the crit chance, like just anything that has. Oh, I guess Bomb with the 3-star that we are just talking about. Get the crit damage there, and I just want to watch her crit damage like go through the
Abe's
roof.
Abe's team's second best player.
Yeah, right. She's not the star. What's like the second, the
First
bridesmaid?
mate. I don't know. Probably.
um okay, so for a last bit of here, I wanted to ask you guys, what have you been like using in PvP since all these updates have come out in live, if you've been playing at all, because I know sometimes life happens, you don't play a lot of live. Ryan, do you play free matches often, or do you only do class matches?
I pretty much just do class matches, yeah. So I get my practice in when it counts.
Holy crap, that's impressive.
I mean, I honestly don't really play much free match either.
I've never done one free match. I've only done class matches.
Wow, I did not know that. That's really important to
Yeah,
mention.
I could maybe climb more if I had done that, but I mean, I can usually get my team pretty well handled after like a game or two in class matches. I can kind of get a feel for it and know what I need to swap up. So maybe I lose 1 or 2 games because I'm not used to it, but after that I'm good to go.
Yeah, I mean, like this is the closest thing to an esport that I've seen for Final Fantasy. So like, the fact like without any warm up or practice and just diving in, doing as well as you do, that's really impressive to me. And if anybody else does the same, then like kudos.
So the limited free matches I have been doing, I've been using the ice team I mentioned, so Rosa, Gilgamesh, and Orin. And man, I open up with Smile Practice and Mashri Tamar from Gilgamesh and or Rosa and Gilgamesh, respectively. And I went against like a mono dark team of like Garvel, Dwayne, and Rune Stern, and they just did nothing. Like it was like Garvel got to hit everybody before I moved, but no one died because I had like magic resist, Fenrir, and stuff. Smile Practice heal everybody back to full and put on the, or mostly full, and put the Shell Protect. Then Rosa moved over, and then Gilgamesh went Monster TMR. Then his other two people came in, dealt like 1,000, 1,000, and then I just wiped him off the floor. Like, it was silly. And I think the combination of Monster TMR and Smile Practice from Eunice TMR is really going to be a cornerstone for a while, I think.
It's a game changer. Like more than any X job, honestly. Like those two TMRs together.
Like just we've talked about it so many times how impactful Protect and Shell are. That they can't be dispelled by anything. I don't know a single thing that removes them besides death.
Holy Torch.
Oh,
and that's PvE only, ladies and gentlemen.
so
because for some reason you can't use items in PvP. Like, why have items right now?
This motherfucker using items. Dude, I don't even know. I've never even used an item. Like, I've never seen the menu. I don't even.
Yeah, I mean, you know me. Like, I collect, like, you know, the whole getting to 99 thing. I buy all of the, like, even the tiny Visior ones that were worth like 1 or 3 Visior each.
Oh
whatever.
my god, do you really?
Yep, I've been buying those since the start of the game, and like I'm at like almost 400 like extra large pots, and those are 3 Visior each. So I have like 999 like regular pots. I have like a bunch of high pots, and then you know I'm buying all of the Visior ones, like the stimulants and the shit. Yeah, so I'm kind of like a collector like that. It's nostalgic for me to be like, I'm gonna max out these stacks of items.
Sure,
And
yeah.
not being able to use them is just like, really. Maybe one day, and I'm investing towards that one day.
Oh man, that's crazy.
But
like I can imagine doing the gold ones. Like, I've actually been looking at them, being like, are any of these something I'd be like worth collecting, like just for fun? And then like I saw the Visitor ones, I'm like, oh, away from that. The next one. It's funny that you're just like, nope, all of it.
So for me, like the goal is to get like 999 of the healing pots, right? And so like I was like, well, if it's basically like 1,000 extra large pots times 3 is 3,000 Visior. 3,000 Visiors like staggered over like a year or whatever. Like, I'm okay with that. I know that's a Kraken thing, so like I try not to talk about it, but yeah. Maybe one day I will be vindicated and we can suddenly use items in PvP, and it'll be a game
Can you
changer or
imagine
something.
that? Oh man, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Phoenix down.
Be a cool format.
Yeah.
A one-time thing.
That's actually a good point. Like, that'd be a cool
Turn it
custom
on.
game feature where we could put it on friendly matches. You
That would
can
be
use
pretty cool.
items like,
or just have it be an option for like any kind of thing, just like a custom change. But in
the amount
terms
of design space there is, if they would just give us toggles. Anyway,
kind of getting back to your question, I think for me, I do a lot of my free matches when I stream. Because it's not like I provide a platform for people to practice, and you know generally that's against me. But now that we have the spectate option, it doesn't have to be. But I also like ask like my viewers like, hey, give me a random team. Like, what would you like to see? I have all of these units maxed. I have all of these vision cards maxed, and I have a lot of resonance and affinity, and you know equipment proficiency for all of them set up. So like, what kind of teams do you want to see? And people have been sending me like requests for like some of the most like interesting teams. Like I did.
Are they interesting or are they interesting?
Well, so like the concepts, like Samurai Bro team. Like I tried that. I did a King Rob Vistral Elshra team. I did like a Raldor Christmas Mastery Luartha team, and just melted an ice team of like Gilgamesh,
Jesus.
Rosa, and like Orin. Like one barrage from Christmas Mastery on this like stacked fire team, like one shot Rosa, and thankfully she didn't dodge it.
Yeah, right.
So,
reflex.
Yeah. But I'm trying to remember some of the other like random teams that people have asked for, but that's so you can expect to be like to see that on my streams for anybody who's been a part of those or is thinking about it. Just that's part of the entertainment for me is uh, like just having those random teams. But when I'm not streaming, I still try to practice, with different things and like try to like brainstorm and come up with different ideas. Um, but like in terms of like preparing for class matches, like really it usually comes back down to like these core concepts of like, do I use a quicken team or do I want to go for a bruiser or like
Hmm.
evasion or ranged or like it comes back to that. So that kind of sucks when you're trying to prepare for like your A game for like tournaments. But that's the beauty of free matches is that like you don't have to always be preparing. You can just like you don't have to worry about like a streak. Like if you just lose this, like have you've just lost a streak, it actually gives you the freedom to be like, well,
Yep.
maybe I'll try this that I've been working on and haven't really had the chance to use.
That's usually when I'll pull Mish out.
Nice.
Chat's like,
Double quick and Mish.
use the Mish. Oh, dude, double quick and Mish is so fun.
I can't wait to see it, man. I'm sure I'm not alone in saying that.
Yeah, when Izzy X comes out, mm-hmm,
Get ready.
it's that sure hit. Oh yeah, the sure hit. I think it's his drain becomes sure hit. Oh no, he just gets a sure hit AoE abilities. His job 25. It's a range height 2 AoE 1 4 +1 AoE thing. 140 100% to hit and decrease CT by 50.
Wow.
Well, it's 50x, so isn't that like 5?
50%.
50x's?
Yeah.
I thought 50x was like a shift over, so it's only 5.
Almost all of these like X's for CT wise on War of the Visions calc are percentages. Like we tested them recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What'd you
so
guys
it's
test
crazy.
with?
All of the okay, so I can't remember specifically, but I know part of those was like the staff mage, like elemental staff, and the one I just mentioned, like sonic wings.
Hmm.
And so like there's this trend that it's percentage, and the weird bump in that is like the CT increases where it's in the hundreds. Um, I feel like that's just kind of like a spaghetti code kind of thing where like
It
if it's
doesn't display above
increasing,
100, yeah.
yeah, if it's increasing CT, then it's by the hundreds or something, and or like it's 3 decimal places. If
Oh,
it's
okay, right,
decreasing it,
right.
it's 15. It's percentage.
Because Quicken says like 1,000, like increase 1,000 or whatever, but it's really only 100. Um, Whereas, okay, and that's why the decimals carry over in game, and you can't see them, but they're there.
Yeah, but like if it's
But
a decrease, it's a
decreasing.
percentage, so it doesn't matter.
Oh wow, so his is decreased by
Yes,
50%.
it's crazy.
Jesus
It's a steal time,
Christ.
and Mish is a thief mage, right? So like I'm not surprised, but I'm still kind of like holy shit, like a steal time cast like a spell. It's crazy.
Yeah, and it's a cast time 200, so it's the same speed as Flare. You can get that instant on him easy because he's got 750 already. Like, just have
Seeing Mish in raids.
do Envious Magician on him to give him the 100 on Bestow plus the 30% magic to party. Put some Trousseau in the party or like Blossoms or something. Get some agility. Oh yeah, Misha's coming. He also gets, what's his other upgrade? Oh yeah, his bio gets upgraded to decrease attack and magic by 39%, and then his Toad decreases agility and spirit both by 25,
Oh
25
yeah, I
and
forgot about that.
25%. Yeah,
People are
with
talking about like
with
looking
a
forward to his Toad shenanigans.
2 3 with a range 6 on his Toad. It goes from 3 to 6. What the fuck? With range height 2. Oh my god, that's terrifying, dude. What?
You can outrange a jamming thrust with that.
And its max
So
cast
silly.
time is 360, so it's instant.
Is it still base 25?
Yeah.
Okay, so there's still that. It's not ridiculous,
Right.
but still,
It's still
coin flip
a coin flip
sometimes.
it, turning somebody into a toad and decreasing their spirit by that much.
Enemy mage at least.
Yeah, you just do that and then you just nuke him. Like, holy crap. Actually, that's a good point because you can do because it's instant. It's a one tick cast because of his cast speed being so high. You can run him in, toad somebody before the quicken happens, quicken, flare them and run out, and they have got the decreased spirit and they're just gonna die.
No, screw that. I'd use the CT down skill, especially if it's AoE. Like drop
Oh
that
well,
and
yeah, if
then
you
leave them
can.
a toad and then run back, and they're just like, well, what do I do now?
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, I'll definitely be. Yeah, as soon as Mesh drops, you better bet there's gonna be some streaming
Brian,
that week.
I'm curious, Brian, do you have any like particular like MR or lower rarity units that you're looking forward to X jobs?
Um,
Regardless of if they exist yet, just in general.
in general, I am looking forward to Seymour. He's a cool unit in general, aesthetically. So I would probably build him up. Um, Other units though, I don't really have too many MR units max, just because
Yeah,
of when I started. I mainly just focused on catching up all the URs. Um, well, let me look through some of the units really quick.
yeah. I don't want to put the spotlight on you. I was just curious, like if any had caught your eye, if you've had the
Um,
chance to really like attach to some of these like lower rarity units,
I
like
like,
Prodigy's got Mish, I've got
yeah,
Mistral. I'm about to talk about him.
I like Salir and Alim. I mean, kind of a cop out since they're the double cost MR units, but they're pretty cool. I'm almost at both of them maxed. Um, Possibly, I like Ramada too, and with the bonus she gets on the newish card, she could be pretty good too. But yeah, no one
Astrologer.
in particular. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't really thought about like Salir or Alim, like what their X jobs are going to be look like. I can
Robin
only
is pretty
imagine.
dope.
I haven't seen yet. But yeah, so Vistral is kind of like my boy. He was kind of Ramza's replacement for me, especially in like the Death Machine raid where like you saw like parties of Ramza and the ones that I was able to sneak into, like I was keeping up with Ramza even though he had a chain and I didn't. I was still doing like max damage at the time. So Vistral has definitely kind of helped me get over that hump. So he's kind of always just been like my bro. Like he was my first mug unit. So he's been on my mug team like the whole time until like, obviously too much JP, so you switch him out for another mug unit. But he has some really
Whale
cool.
problems. Too
He's
much JP.
yeah, he's got like an interesting like X upgrade like setup. Um, he gets like a decrease, like a defense decrease
I don't know why my
to
camera's just sorry. I'll just happen.
like
Oh, there we
his
go.
sneak attack, which is like a main job skill. So he's always going to have that, no matter like if you're on like soldier sub job or not. But so he gets like defense down as well as the guaranteed crit. But I'm really liking the job 25 skill he has, where it's like 200% damage, like at max, skill level 20. But it's a mini keen blade. It's a range of 4 and range height of 1. So it's like slightly less range and height jamming thrust, but it restores his CT by 25. So it's like it can kind of, I don't know. I'm looking forward to kind of testing that with him. Like he doesn't always have to be a steel heart evasion kind of guy. Like I've really enjoyed having him on soldier sub job, for instance, and like paralyzing people and just doing a crazy amount of damage and stuff. Yeah, like he's paper and like he dies really easily unless like I haven't really seen messed with like his light upgrades with these vision cards, but really looking forward to Vistral. Maybe I'm the only one, but maybe there's a few people listening. They're like, "Oh, that's my boy Vistral."
He's
It's
definitely one
it's
of those cool
weird.
characters, like both aesthetically and just like his combination of jobs is really cool. I think.
He's actually one of the only exceptions to my rule of like um wanting to like a character's personality to want to use the unit in my team lineup. I obviously Vistral is like a bad guy, an antagonist in the story. Um, no longer alive. Spoilers. Uh, but I don't know. I've been using him for so long. It's kind of just like, yeah, like your POS, personality wise. Just like I don't like Victoria for, I feel like the same way about her, but um, definitely have been using Vistral much more than I have Victoria. Not to shit on like I know that she's one of your favorite units.
Oh, it's fine. I like her little bullshit. Like the story, like I'm not like attached to like which side wins. I just in the interesting situations that appear
Yeah.
in. I think she's a instigator. It's kind of fun. But yeah, just real quick, Ramada for you, Brian. Her Lancer, the like attack and crit rate buff goes to it gives her hate down, which is interesting. and then her, what's it called? What's the Doom thing called? I have it in
Obliterate.
Obliterate gets upgraded to go from 91% to 170 for the damage mod. Gets an additional range of up to 3 from 2. And then also has a chance to paralyze on
That's
top
not
of Doom.
that's not bad for 10 AP.
No, it's only 10 AP
Yeah.
as well. It's kind of nuts. And then her EX25 is a straight line 6 range. You can only hit one, like it's not piercing, but pierce ability 6 range. That does 165 and dispels all buffs and haste.
That's crazy.
That's really good.
So
Oh,
yeah, she can do
I
some stuff.
wonder, dude, is that like? I wonder if it's like a Nighthawk, where like it acts like a missile attack, where like if it has, if you're at a higher height, like
I
every
think so
2
because
step.
it has I think most Lancer's single target abilities all do that, right? Or is it
No,
only
it's just
Nighthawk?
It's only Nighthawk, and I believe Javelin Claw, but I can't believe I haven't remembered to test that.
Because Nighthawk has the same sort of aim where it's just like in a line.
That's why I was like, oh, I wonder if it works like that. Imagine if it did though, like having that
The
that like
translation for the ability is fierce gun flying. That's so good.
just throwing a
Yeah, that'd be
pistol at
crazy
somebody
though,
when
dude.
you're out of
Yeah,
ammo.
yeah. Like, can you imagine, like, on the one guild map, like the temple, like the 2 sides, so she's on top of that, just across the whole map, just like
Chuck
Zeus
and
throwing.
dabbling.
Yes. Oh, it should be kind of cool, yeah. Like these are the conversations, like you get excited about these EX jobs coming out, these old units to just get this new life into them, and I think it's gonna be really cool to talk about them every week. And maybe it'll get old for some people, but honestly, I love just like theory crafting about making less than like meta or optimal units do their thing, like my Mish or something.
Yeah,
So
like
Yeah.
it just indicates it helps raise awareness for just how much depth there is to the game, or PvP in general at least, that like we don't really take into account, or really, um, it's kind of like a out of sight out of mind kind of thing. But obviously there's a wealth of characters to use, and like the more you're invested in a character, even like if it's lower rarity, um, like these kind of upgrades help you be able to like prepare for these like limited cost teams or limited guild battle possibly, um, and maybe help you get that edge that maybe other people don't have.
I was going to add, I love the limited guild battle that they ran. I hope they continue to do that. Anything that makes you have to use your brain um, to plan things out and strategize, I like. So yes, more lower cost class matches, more lower cost guild battles. Um, heck, low cost arenas. Throw it in.
now you're talking crazy.
Don't get between the auto PvPers and their rewards, or you will rue the day.
That's just
I'm
gonna
sorry.
be that's
I'm
gonna be my
sorry.
response from now on. Is like if they're like, oh, I want auto and manual, it's like cool. Let me manual my arena matches.
I'm sorry. Like I was talking about before we started recording. Like, my goal now is to like try to bridge the gap between live and auto PvPers, but that is not helping. So
Another
Eh,
thing
still
I'd
some
like to
they
add
don't
solving.
watch this anyway, right?
too. Never know. But I really like what they're doing with the unit specific buffs on vision cards. That's another avenue they have to rebalance units in a way. I mean, yeah, it kind of restricts them to needing to use that card. But it does give them more power that they maybe can't just add to the unit itself. So I really like that too. Like Ramadov on the astrologer card. Um, and there's like most cards now that are coming out have those kind of buffs. So really interesting.
Yeah, and Japan doesn't have those at all.
Really.
Yeah, they have the same party abilities and everything else, but we have these additional effects on these cards.
That just feels bad.
Like so, like I'm flipping between just to double check myself. But yeah, and War of the Visions calc, like Japan for the astrology card specifically still has the attack resist, attack, all the same abilities. But if you swap it over to global, it just gets the Ramba thing added on. So it's definitely weird because I know before this update came out with all the max bonuses, we were wondering if we were going to get the same ones because we have these bestowed bonuses and like maybe that would be like the global version. But nope, we just got it all. So yeah, definitely solid. I completely agree with that too. Like a lot of people have said, things are getting power crap, this and that, but like the EX jobs are the method of rebalancing things and bringing back Like when Frederica EX hits, people are gonna get reminded that she's not gone now, and she's definitely not gonna be gone once that EX comes out. Like it's good, and these week 2, week 3, whatever units are still doing the thing. So the vision cards are only helping. Now, what would be interesting is if they add retroactively over time, like these bestowed effects to the original vision cards, like Trousseau and Ramu and stuff like that. I doubt they will, because those are like the staple cards. Like you want magic percent, go to Ramu. If you want additional effects, you take that party ability down a little bit and use this other card. But
Possibly vision card abilities.
yeah, vision card abilities too, which I realized that for some reason I was thinking like every vision card that was going to be coming out was going to have an ability, but that
Yeah, me too.
hasn't been the case. So I guess
Oh,
Astrologer does, but some of the other more recent ones don't. Like the Zazan card doesn't. Sort of nice though, because for like cost 540, you do have to think about the fact that the vision card ability vision cards do have 10 higher cost. So that is something to remember.
those sweet halcyon days when we were summer children, thinking that every vision card would have an ability.
And then Bahamut is 90. So like people want to use Yuna and Gilgamesh and Bahamut. Like, yeah, think about that. Actually, does Bahamut Esper have a higher cost? No, it's still 40. Okay. Anyway, any last thoughts you guys have? Either about EX units, things to look forward to, thoughts. Actually, I guess we didn't really totally talk about the future, but we kind of did with the EX rebalancing and all that.
I thought that's what we were talking about the last 20 minutes was the last thoughts.
Listen,
No,
man,
I'm
I
out.
ask like 3 times a
It's,
podcast, like, any last thoughts? Any last thoughts? I just cut out
Yeah.
the first couple times I asked it, so I don't look like an idiot.
It's 1:30 in the morning now, and I'm out of thoughts.
Oh, is it 1:30? Yeah, we started late because Brian, is a diva and needed extra time to get ready. But...
I had to do my hair for my no webcam.
Right.
I guess my last thoughts will be though I'm really looking forward to where the meta goes. Like right now, it seems like mono elements are really strong. Just with the additional vision card party buffs for mono elements, and every unit now seems to be coming out with a master ability passive that buffs mono elements. Which I like. I enjoy putting mono element teams together and kind of mix and matching different vision card abilities or passives. Hopefully it's not the meta forever, but I think it's good for the game to have change in the meta. So if mono element is strong for a while and then changes in the future, I think that's good and I like it.
Cool. And that wraps us up for the week. Thank you for tuning in. Brian, thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I'm sure he'll be back at some point. But you guys will be seeing him in the future. I'm signing him up for this right now. But we've talked about the hand and brain content that will be coming. He and I will likely make some content based on that. I'll force him to record with me. So that should be pretty fun. But until next time, I've been Zach Bro.
I've been Danyl,
and we will see you next time.